Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Modern Horizons 2 draft video. I literally just got my computer set up, got my recording studio area set back up how it's supposed to be set up, got everything cleaned up, got my mic back in place after running some errands today, and I really hope that this is going to be... Wow, I seem a lot louder. I'm not sure why. Just turn it down just a little bit. Apologies if that opening was slightly too loud. I'm peaking in the red. Why is that? Did I? Oh, you know what? I probably bumped the... I bet you I bumped the gain. 1 second. Was that gain up or down? I think that was gain down, because that makes way... It seems like a way more polite volume. I'm mostly in the yellow instead of the red. But yeah, no, I just got my whole setup back together. And I noticed the lighting, for no reason at all, is better down here. Actually, nope, it's because I adjusted where my sound deadening blanket is, because it actually blocks one of the lights now. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm actually on a green screen while still wearing a green shirt. And I'm visible, which is awesome, because I think I look great in green shirts mostly. It's probably my favorite color to wear, and you guys never see me wear it because I'm on front of a green screen, so it always just is like, oh, you're wearing green, you're invisible. But with the lighting as good as it is right now, you can actually tell. Anyway, I'll come back when the draft starts. Really long queue time today. Alright. So, we got 3 good rares in this pack. We have Shardless Agent, Timeless Dragon, and Harmonic Prodigy, which, as we saw, Harmonic Prodigy with Dragon's Rage Channeler is pretty crazy. But a lot of you guys are probably wondering why I'm still playing Modern Horizons 2. I know it's not the most popular video type that I upload, and I've maybe been overdoing it a little bit, but we still haven't hit the Ragavan lottery, and I don't want to have to buy Modern Horizons 2 staples when I can still be drafting the format. Although the leagues do close in just a couple of days, so I'm not sure how many more I'm going to get in. I don't think any of these are really worth anything, but Timeless Dragon's probably the most powerful rare in our pack. I just don't know if I want to draft Reanimator. I've not drafted Shardless Agent yet, and that could be a lot of fun. Harmonic Prodigy is probably the best thing to try hard with, but we'll take the Dragon. Okay, in this pack there's a Squirrel Mob. I still haven't drafted a good Squirrels deck. Green-white is like 1/1 counters. I think there's a Batterbone, an Underworld Cookbook. If I take the Underworld Cookbook, we could be playing Reanimator, which I think is what Timeless Dragon fits the best in, because you can plane cycle it, then you can reanimate it. You can always Eternalize it if you have to on curve to get a 4/4 flyer instead of a 5/5 flyer. I kind of like Batterbone. I'm going to take Batterbone. Okay, Diamond Lion I don't think is actually playable. Feast of Sanity is much better in the... what do you call it? The Madness deck, of course. Slasher, if I want to do red-white... I'm not really in an archetype yet, but I'm also not getting strong signals for any particular archetype. Flame Blitz is just for delirium cycling, basically. I think out of the cards in this pack, I am most likely to play Slasher, Knighted Mirror, or Dusk Shell Crawler. And I'm going to take Knighted Mirror because my rare is a white rare, and I'm probably most likely to play that card. Okay, Chef's Kiss is strong, but it is double red, and we are currently mono white. Although we don't have to be. We can switch out of it. I can take the Arcbound Javelineer, because if I'm going to play the red-white deck, keeping the curve low and keep getting as many modular creatures as possible is definitely a good way to win. Red-white seems to be a little open, at least at this juncture, because there's a Foundry Helix and an Arcbound Tracker. But if we're going to take any of the modular stuff, we want the cheapest stuff first, I'm pretty sure. I do like Gargadon. Gargadon has been good in every single deck I've played it in. Break Ties is also great. I was thinking about playing red-white anyway. Blue-white, more of an affinity deck, and I think a little bit less powerful. I think Gargadon is the best pick for us here, because the card is just crazy strong. Alright, I really like Foundry Helix. Lightning Spear is also not bad. Monoskellion strikes me as a card that could be really good in this deck, but I think I actually want Foundry Helix before I want that Monoskellion. I could be wrong, but... Another Arcbound Javelineer. Like I said, I want cheap modular creatures if I can get them, and one's about as cheap as it gets. Let's see, there's an Extruder, a Strike It Rich, there's a Thorn Glint Bridge, which I could use to splash. Strike It Rich ramps me, though I don't really need to ramp. It does create tokens. I think we're better off just taking Extruder. We don't have any 4-drops yet, and the sack ability of Extruder is very strong. It's much stronger if you have Artifact lands, of course. I do like Fodder Tosser, but this card goes, like, always late, no matter what. So we're going to take the Crypt Keeper. Just having a random Grave Hate spell in this format is very strong. Not to mention it is an Artifact Beater we can modular onto. Let's see. Gouge Zealot or Disciple of the Sun. I honestly don't think I'm going to be playing either of those cards. I'm just going to take the off-color bridge in case I have to splash. Green has the most other 1/1 counter shenanigan stuff. So, like, we could end up in Selesnya and splash red for, like, Foundry Helix. I do like Slasher as top end for the modular deck. Tracker came around. That's fantastic. The second block of text on this card is actually really relevant. I've run into it a lot more often. It was just like, oh yeah, no, cast 2 spells and it gets bigger for free. It matters a lot. I will take Chrome Courier, but I don't know that I'm going to play it. I wouldn't play it unless the mana is like really free. Battle Plan I'll put in the sideboard, and Echoing Turn goes in the sideboard. Alright, pack 2, we get a foil Misty Rainforest, a Piru the Volatile, another Arcbound Tracker. So let's see. Misty Rainforest. I don't think the foil is worth anything online. Oh, it's worth like 7 tickets. It could potentially help us splash, but not really. Arcbound Tracker, I think, is the best card for us in this pack, but I can take a card that costs maybe half of what we're spending on this draft. I don't need a Misty. The other option is like Slag Strider, which is a great sack outlet. I do not like Steel Dromedary. Alright, I'm rare drafting. Put it in the sideboard. There's like 4 things for our deck in that pack, so hopefully at least one comes around. Okay, Timeless Dragon number 2. If I'm playing the first one, I'd probably play a second one, because the card is strong. If I'm splashing green, Scurry Oak and Bannerhide Krushock are not bad. Like, Krushock's actually really good. If I can get a Crack Open or a Thorn Glint Bridge or even a Break Ties from this pack coming around, I'd be pretty happy. So we'll take a second Timeless Dragon. So I can take Slagwood's Bridge, which would let me splash Smell Fear, potentially. Or, you know, in another pack, get that. There's another Arcbound Slasher. The chance that I splash green is pretty decent. I see a lot of these green artifact duels coming around, and Smell Fear is about as good of a removal spell in a deck with 1/1 counters as you can get. Unbounded Potential is a lot less hard on our mana, and does similar things, potentially more aggressive things, but I really like the fight spell. Alright, we got another Arcbound Tracker. Let's see, Nykthos Paragon. Whenever you gain life, put that many 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. We have Foundry Helix and Batterbone. This card is a lot more expensive than I would like to play. I think it's maybe the best in the Reanimator deck. Let's take it. I do like the prototype the most here. Foundation Breaker wouldn't be bad. Same with Ren's Run Hydra. But I do need some more cheap modular creatures, and especially in the 2-drop slot. So we'll take the prototype. I can take a 3rd Javelineer, or I can take a 2nd Foundry Helix. I think I want the Javelineer to help make the early game as consistent as possible. I do want a 2nd Foundry Helix if I can get it, but I don't think it's super necessary. This card's just really good, and having 2 lets you use 1 as removal and another one potentially to end the game, which matters a lot. I will take Thorn Glint Bridge here. I don't Really want the Manticore. I want to stay away from double-colored cards except white as much as possible. Thornglint Bridge makes it easier to splash a Smell Fear, and is a little better than I think another Tormod Script Keeper. Alright, in this pack there is a Seal of Cleansing or a Spreading Insurrection. It is not likely we get multiple casts for Spreading Insurrection. I think Seal of Cleansing is probably worse than the Reinforce spell in our deck. We could have like a crazy power swing turn where like Gargadon comes off Suspend and we Spreading Insurrection to like take their guy. So I think I'll take that just for the potential upside, but I don't think I'm actually going to play it. I have Extruder for a sack outlet, but that's the only one. I think I want to take the Tracker over Slag Strider. I'm not going to have that many artifacts, and while having this as a free sack outlet is great, and the reach that it provides is also great, I think the Tracker is still better. I will take Thornglint Bridge over a Gouged Zealot. I would not mind a Crack Open, but I still think the white spell's probably better for us, if we can get it. Fairgrounds Patrol is fine, and an emergency we can modular onto the Thopter. So Unbounded Potential or a third Tracker is a little bit interesting. I think I'm going to take the third Tracker. Slasher's fine. Random card to the sideboard, random card to the sideboard. Alright, on to pack 3. We do have a little bit too much top end right now, so if we're cutting anything, it's probably like these two cards at least. So if we could get a couple more prototypes, maybe another Smell Fear, or easier ways to splash Smell Fear, things like that. If we can't make it work, if we can't make the green mana work, we can always cut Smell Fear. There's a Marsh Flats, which I don't think helps us. There's also an Arcbound Whelp, which I have never drafted in this deck. It is a 4-mana flying modular creature. I'm missing out on a Blacksmith skill, which is a never really a bad thing to have in any of the decks that are white and aggressive. So Modern Horizons 2, Marsh Flats is 3 tickets. I think the Whelp is worth more than 3 tickets to us, just because of the additional consistency it's going to add. Yeah, we'll take in the Whelp. Okay, I do like Prismatic Ending a lot, especially when we have a third color in the deck, and white being one of our primary colors. Thraben Watcher would also be pretty good, because most of our creatures are not tokens. Mind Collapse would be fine as well as removal if it came around, but I definitely want the Exile removal. I think it's very important in a deck like this. I think the Prototype is the best creature for us. I already have 3 trackers. I wouldn't mind another. I would play probably up to 2 more Prototypes. Trap Runner is great, but I don't like coin flip stuff. It also has pretty low toughness. So we'll take the Prototype. There's Upheaval. Another Prismatic Ending is fantastic. I think this is an insanely good removal spell. Is it better than Smell Fear? Probably, because Smell Fear absolutely requires that we play green. Prismatic Ending lets us get any value off of additional colors that we can make, without necessarily having to play those colors. So I'm going to take another Prismatic Ending. Tracker is the best card in this pack for us, I think, by far. Another Slasher, a Thornglint Bridge, or an Unbounded Potential. Unbounded Potential has a pretty good chance of being a great card in this pack, but it's decently likely that it will come around. I'm going to take the other white-green land here, simply because it makes Prismatic Ending better. I think 4 green sources on duels and 1 forest is enough to splash a Smell Fear. The question is whether or not we want to. We would be playing the duels regardless because we have Extruder and Prismatic Ending, though. Scrappling actually makes this deck quite a bit better. The alternative is to take one of these artifact lands to help like splash a bigger Converge off of Prismatic Ending. I think I just want one more 1/1 counter shenanigans. It helps keep the curve low as well. Road to Ruin. This is a splashable removal spell, as well as ramp, and we do have a couple of larger creatures and stuff. Slagwood's Bridge wouldn't be bad, but I will take Road to Ruin, I think. Flourishing Strike is excellent removal, as well as a great power boost. I think Blacksmith skill is a little bit better for us, though. It doesn't require that we play green, let alone double green, to get maximum value. Yeah, let's take the skill. It can be used offensively and defensively. Sojourner's Companion. I don't know that we have enough artifacts to make the affinity worth it. The artifact land cycling might be worth it. I think it's better than Rift Sower. I don't know if I'm playing it, though. There's an unbounded potential, which I do like better than Bottle Golems. I'll put a Chrome Courier in the sideboard. Take a card in a color that I am playing. Another Slasher. Alright, it looks like my webcam has crashed, but our last pick was Silver Bluff Bridge. And I'm going to go ahead and restart both the client and my webcam, and I will see you guys when we get back around to that. Alright, welcome back, everybody. And I cut a lot of the top-end stuff I was playing. I even cut the Gargadon. I think this is going to be the most consistent deck we can play. I kept Road to Ruin in as the only green card. I don't think we have a way to discard this directly, but we have enough green sources that we should be able to cast the front half, and the back half of the removal is pretty nice. The fact that it can accelerate us maybe into a Timeless Dragon or Nykthos Paragon is great. We have a lot of early game aggression with some decent removal between Prismatic Ending, Foundry Helix, and Road to Ruin. I kept the Nykthos Paragon in just because I think it's slightly better than maybe the Sojourner's Companion for our deck, and wanted to keep as many modular creatures in the deck as possible. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add, so I'll see you guys in round one. Alright, we're on the play. No 1-drop, but we can play a 2-drop and protect it. We can Plane Cycle for a third land if we need to. I think we keep. Odds that we draw a red land is pretty high. Lead on Plains, pass the turn. Opponent leads on a Dark Moss Bridge. We draw another Timeless Dragon. Yeah, let's build a board. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. They pass. We draw Prismatic Ending. Let's go ahead and Plane Cycle. Okay, they're going to make us sack. That's fine. It sucks, but it's fine. Play a Plains. Pass the turn. Okay, I'd really like to draw a Mountain. I guess Prototype's fine, too. Plane Cycle. Get a Plains. Play a Plains. Play the Prototype. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp, then passes. Draw Slagwood's Bridge, so we play it. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Opponent takes 2. Might as well Eternalize. Pass the turn. Next turn we can Eternalize our other one and keep up Blacksmith skill. Opponent Bone Shards, ditching Archfiend of Sorrows, which they can unearth next turn. We draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain, and let's Eternalize. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Pass the turn. If they just try to unearth the Archfiend, we can Blacksmith skill to keep the creature alive. Because it doesn't kill the Timeless Dragon. So we can use this as a pump spell to keep this guy alive. So they end up killing nothing and just hitting us for 4. That's fine. Okay, we untap. We draw Foundry Helix. So play Arcbound Tracker. I could Foundry Helix now to just put a counter on Arcbound Tracker, sacking Slagwood's Bridge, but that limits my ability to do anything with Prismatic Ending. I could just sack a random land, but I kind of want to gain the life. Let's just hold it up. I think that's more powerful. Hit them for 6, because if they have removal, we can just sack the modular creature that they're trying to remove. Alright, opponent is going to Sudden Edict us, so sack the Arcbound Prototype. It's modular. Then opponent plays Jewel-Eyed Cobra. And they're just dead, right? Untap, we draw Plains. Play a Plains. Play Arcbound Whelp. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent takes 8. Kill him? Nice. Alright. I don't think Sudden Edict is very good removal in this format, and it's definitely not great removal against us because we'll have a lot of 1-drops that we kind of want to die more often than we don't. I probably should drop Nykthos Paragon and play an Arcbound Slasher in its place, because if my opponent has Edicts, I would much rather have another modular creature. It's also going to be kind of hard to gain life. No plays until 3, and no red mana. I think we have to mulligan. This is not great, but it is keepable. Opponent leads on the blue-white Razortide Bridge. So, play Plains, play Arcbound Javelineer, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest, plays a Brainstone. We draw Prototype. Okay, play Plains, play Prototype. Go to combat, hit them for 1. Opponent untaps. They play a Forest. They play Rift Sower. We untap, draw a mountain, play a mountain, go to combat, attack for 3. Okay, opponent blocks, that's fine. Play Knighted Mirror, pass the turn. So opponent has 4 mana. They crack open Knighted Mirror. We untap, draw a mountain, play Slagwood's Bridge, play Mere Scrappling, go to combat, attack for 2. Okay, opponent no blocks. They take 2 and go to 16. We pass. Now we need to be drawing more threats. Like, I wouldn't mind drawing one of my Timeless Dragons here. Opponent is going to Brainstone. And then they play a Chrome Courier. Okay, opponent puts a Dark Moss Bridge in their hand, gains life, and puts an Archfiend of Sorrows into the grave. Then they pass. We untap. Draw Forest. Not what I wanted to see. Play a mountain. Go to combat. Swing with everybody. Counter here. Hit them for 4. So now if they reanimate the Archfiend, in theory, Javelineer survives and gets bigger. Oh, they just reanimate it. They don't unearth it. Okay. If they have a Sudden Edict, we are kind of in trouble. Attack us for 1, we take 1. Untap, we draw a Prototype. Play Prototype. Go to combat. And pass. I guess I should have played out one of my lands in case my opponent has the Mind Rot effect. They crack a food, gain life. They untap. They have a Planeswalker. That's upsetting. They corrupt our Javelineer. They go to combat. We untap. Draw Arcbound Whelp. Play a mountain. Play the Whelp. Go to combat. Pass. Problem is, we have no way to answer that Planeswalker, and it's going to probably get to ult, at which point we're going to lose. I think my opponent had the right combination of cards this game. Okay, they cast Terramorph and fix. They go to combat. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Javelineer. Yeah, I think we're going to need a faster start with a little more sustain. I'm going to go ahead and concede. That game may not have been entirely over, but it felt pretty close. Okay, so let's run it back. Play first. Yeah, this is a keep. If we draw a mountain, this hand gets really good with a 1, 2, 3, and then combat trick. So lead on Scrappling, pass the turn. When it leads on a tap land, we draw mountain. Perfect. Play mountain, go to combat. Attack for 1. Take them to 19. Play prototype, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play another tap land, and they pass. We untap. Draw plains. Play plains. Play tracker. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Head our opponent down to 16. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. They play a Brainstone. And they play another tap land. Then pass. We untap. We draw Javelineer. So play plains. Play Javelineer. Go to combat. And attack with the team for 5. If my opponent has instant speed removal, like an Unholy Heat, Blacksmith skill would actually grow the tracker, but they don't. So opponent untaps. They play a mountain. Then they pass. We untap. Draw Slagwood's Bridge. Play the bridge. Go to combat. Swing with the whole team. Opponent is playing a 4-drop. Foundry Helix. So we're going to give this hexproof and indestructible, so my opponent's spell fizzles and they do not gain life. You go to 3. Pass the turn. My opponent just disconnected. I don't know if you can see the notification underneath me, but I think they just rage quit. So I'll be back in like 10 minutes in theory when they finally time out. If your opponent just has it, just right-click concede. Rage quitting and making them wait the 10 minutes is actually against the terms of service, so don't do it. I can't consciously remember a time that I've ever done that. I might have been upset enough to do it once, or twice even, but try not to let it get to you. I've taken some pretty punishing defeats, especially in the last few limited videos, and I've tried not to get upset about it. But, alright, I'll come back when either my opponent comes back or they don't. So, see you guys in a bit. I did it again. I didn't record this entire match up until this point. I don't know what was wrong with me. I thought I clicked the record button. So we lost game 1. We stacked up a huge modular creature, but my opponent used a Necromancer's Familiar as an infinite chump blocker. Play Javelineer, pass the turn. So obviously we kept the sand because we had a good one. Decent follow-up in Batterbone. We have enough mana to play anything we draw, and we have Blacksmith skill to protect ourselves from removal. We did have to mulligan our initial hand. No, this was our initial hand, never mind. Just thinking of last game. Opponent plays a mountain, we untap. We draw plains, which is good. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Play plains, play Batterbone. Living Weapon, pass the turn. Opponent plays a swamp. They play a Lash Claw. We untap and draw Prototype. Play a mountain. Play Prototype. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. I'm going to use the skill to get rid of the Madness Outlet. We gain 1, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a mountain, and plays a Guiltblade Prowler. We draw Prismatic Ending. So we can Prismatic Ending to kill that next turn, but not this turn. Go to combat. And we will attack like this. Okay, opponent blocks the Javelineer. So we move the modular counters over. Opponent takes 2, and we pass the turn. Opponent plays a Cabal Initiate, then passes. We draw Silver Bluff Bridge. So, play the bridge. Prismatic ending the Prowler. White, red, green. That will kill the 3-drop. Go to combat. Attack. Okay, opponent no blocks. They take a bit of damage. They untap. We do need another artifact creature so we can comfortably modular, like move our modular tokens over, or modular 1/1 counters, I mean. Play Thornglint Bridge. Play Extruder. Alright. Go to combat. Attack, attack. Okay, opponent is going to Madness a Hellmongrel. And give Cabal Initiate lifelink. We'll see how they block. They're going to block the Germ token. I can sack 2 artifact lands to trade and force my opponent to discard something else. Problem is I don't want to do that because I want to be able to re-equip Batterbone, and I would go down below 5 mana to do that. I will sack this Thornglint Bridge to make this creature bigger, though. Okay, so they're going to take 4. We pass. We have to pay for Extruder next turn. They are going to Mind Collapse the Extruder. It would be prohibitive to put enough 1/1 counters on this to get it to survive, unless I sacked the prototype. But then my opponent could have like a Terminal Agony, and then I would be all in on this. Yeah, I think we still do this, though. Modular up, make our guy huge. So it takes 5. If they have hard removal or enough damage to kill this, I'm going to feel really silly. Yep. That is exactly what I was afraid of. Yep. Well, that sucks. So we need to draw a creature. I mean, that's... as far as creatures go, not bad. Play Timeless Dragon, pass the turn. That is definitely a great Batterbone-wielding creature as well. Our opponent is down to 3 mana. So unless they like have chain hard removal spells here, we're probably okay. If they attack with the Initiate, we block it, but we do not block the Hellmongrel. Opponent Faithless Salvaging, ditching Viashino Lashclaw to draw another card. Okay, we untap. Draw planes. Suit up the dragon. Go to combat. Hit them for 6 in the air. They go to 4, we go back up to 19. Batterbone once again proves its usefulness, pass the turn. Faithless Salvagin, coming off the rebound. Opponent ditches a young Necromancer. I think they can stay alive for 1 turn if they attack with Cabal Initiate. Because they can ditch something to give this lifelink. We don't particularly care if the dragon dies this turn, we can't eternalize it. But that puts them up to 7 and us at 21. Then they have a Necromancer's Familiar. Okay. We draw Slagwood's Bridge, go to combat. Attack, lifelink, and vigilance. Opponent's going to go down to 1. Opponent attacks, they're threatening to discard 2 cards. I'm not going to block. Our life total doesn't matter that much. Second Timeless Dragon's pretty great. Go to combat. Attack for 6 to gain the life. So opponent can block with Necromancer's Familiar, regenerate it. This does not gain them life unless they lose their last card in hand, though. So, second main. Play another Timeless Dragon. Play Slagwood's Bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. And scoops. Big Dumb Flyers is a way to win the game. So what is this, game 3 now? Yes, because I lost game 1 and didn't record it like a dummy. You guys didn't miss much, I'll be completely honest. I mean, maybe I want Smell Fear, but I also don't want to have to rely on having green mana. So I could drop Nykthos Paragon for an Arcbound Slasher. Yeah, let's do that. Run it back. Yes, I will be keeping this. We've got a good 2 followed by several good 3s. Our opponent just conceded? I have no idea why. Did they even mulligan? What happened? Can I see the game log? Apparently not. I have no idea what happened, but I'll take the win. I'll see you guys in round 3, and I will remember to record it this time. Also, for those unaware, our round 1 opponent did end up rage quitting, so... Alright, round 3, we're on the draw, and I think we will be keeping this. Opponent leads on a forest. We draw Timeless Dragon, so play Slagwood's Bridge, pass the turn. I think the plan is to lead on the prototype, follow that up with Batterbone. Opponent basic land cycles Orchard Strider, as they are playing a lot of colors of magic. We draw Prismatic Ending. Play a Plains, play the prototype. If we draw an untapped land, we'll probably end up casting Road. If we don't, we'll play a tap land and we'll play Batterbone. Opponent plays the Plains we knew about, then plays Ethereum Spinner. Alright, we untap, we draw Plains. Ethereum Spinner is kind of a big deal. I would like to kill it. I cannot Prismatic Ending, though. I would have to Foundry Helix. I have nothing I want to sack right now, so what we're going to do is cast Road and get a Mountain, then pass the turn. My opponent probably wouldn't have blocked there because Ethereum Spinner represents a huge amount of card advantage, giving them a bunch of Thopters. Okay, opponent reanimates Orchard Strider. That's pretty good. They make some food. Then they attack. No blocks. We untap. We draw Silver Bluff Bridge. So I can only really play one spell this turn. I could Ruin to kill Orchard Strider, or I can Prismatic Ending to kill the Ethereum Spinner. Let's kill the big creature this turn. Go to combat, we can attack for 2. Because next turn we can Prismatic Ending, kill the Ethereum Spinner, and play Batterbone. Opponent plays a tap land. Let's hope they don't have another late to dinner. A Jewel-Eyed Cobra, and a Soul Snare, okay? So they attack us for 3, that's fine. We untap, we draw Knighted Mirror. Play the land that we have. Let's play Knighted Mirror and Batterbone. I don't really want to cast the removal yet. I think I would rather build the board. The trick is going to be to try and get my opponent to crack that Soul Snare before we play Timeless Dragon. Opponent plays a land. Then they play a Scurry Oak. No attacks. We untap, we draw Arcbound Javelineer. So Prismatic Ending, Ethereum Spinner, white, red, green. Go to combat. Attacking with Knighted Mirror should cause my opponent to activate Soul Snare, unless they're willing to trade. So if I activate the adapt, that should do it. Okay. That's fine. So my opponent is going to use their open mana to just gain life off of foods. I thought about using Foundry Helix there to kill the Scurry Oak, sacking our guy, but our opponent was making us use our open mana. Opponent plays Lannis, which is a little bit of a problem. We untap and draw Extruder. So what do we do here? Lannis has to die, so I think we're going to have to Foundry Helix Lannis. Scurry Oak is a bit of a problem. Not a huge one, but a little bit of one. So the question is, do I Foundry Helix sacking a creature? Do I Foundry Helix sacking a land we don't need? It's probably a land. So play the Javelineer. Sack the Thornglint Bridge. Kill Lannis, gain life. Yeah, attack with the prototype. Because whatever they block with, if they end up killing it, we just move the counters over to the Javelineer. Okay, they don't block. They go to 19, and we pass. So they're going to crack their foods. Okay, they leave one. They play Karmic Guide. This can get them back Orchard Strider, I think, because Orchard Strider makes 2 separate evolve triggers. Yeah. Nope, they're going to get back Lannis. They really want Lannis. That does represent a huge amount of value. Opponent attacks for 1 in the air, that's fine. We untap, we draw Arcbound Whelp. So we either play the Whelp or we play the Timeless Dragon. Let's play the Whelp. Go to combat, attack for 2. Okay, opponent does not block. Pass the turn. So the big question is, does our opponent pay the Echo cost? And they do. So we will want to be moving this Batterbone over to the Whelp, because then we can make a huge Whelp and just start swinging with Vigilance in the air. Untap, draw Thornglint Bridge, play the bridge, move Batterbone over here, go to combat, and we're going to attack for 3, because this can hit blocking creatures. So if they double block with the Thopter in the Guide, we can ping the Thopter. Okay, opponent untaps. They play a Floodhound. They get a clue. They play a Jade Avenger. They get a clue. And then they pass. We untap. We get a Blacksmith skill, which is a huge deal. Play Extruder. Go to combat. Attack with the Whelp. Opponent is going to chump with a Thopter and the Guide. I think the order is fine. We're not auto-yielded. So, pump. Extrude. Yep. That's fine, because that'll kill both things. We gain a bunch of life. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a land. They crack a clue to draw. And they are going to crack open Arcbound Whelp. So we give it Hexproof and Indestructible. Crack open Fizzles. Okay, no way my opponent attacks into that. That just seems Incorrect. Okay. Opponent uses their remaining mana to sack their food and gain life. So we untap. We'll have to pay Extruder's Echo cost. We'll leave up 1 red so we can Fire Breathe. I can't just kill them, can I? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counters I can add. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counters I can add, and I can Fire Breathe once, possibly twice. So that's only 16 damage. It's a lot, but it's not lethal. It would also require me to go completely all in. So untap. We will pay the Echo cost. Draw Tracker. Go to combat. Attack in the air. Fire Breathe. Okay. Opponent takes 5. We go to 31. Opponent untaps. They draw. They're going to make a clue with the Floodhound, and they used their blue mana to do it. Because they had more blue mana. Okay. So they draw a card. And now they pass. We untap. We draw a forest. Play a forest. Go to combat. Attack in the air. Fire Breathe once. They go to 10. Play Timeless Dragon. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw. And scoop. Alright. Yeah, I think cutting this Paragon for a Slasher is the way to go. And possibly it should be cut for a Gargadon, but our early mana curve, we really want to be putting stuff straight onto the board. I'm not sure we actually want to be suspending. So I think this is fine. We got a 1, a 2, and a 3, but the 2 is not a proactive 2. I will keep this. So what we'll end up doing is plane cycling this Timeless Dragon unless I draw a 4th land. Okay. I might still be plane cycling. Play Javelineer, pass the turn. Opponent plays a tap land. Suspends Soul Talisman. We untap and draw Thornglint Bridge. Play the bridge. Pass the turn. Opponent's Soul Talisman ticking down. They're just going to make a clue immediately. Interesting. We untap, we draw planes. Play a mountain, play a mirror. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 1. So next turn we probably will be adapting and swinging. Unless our opponent has removal or otherwise discourages us completely from attacking. They play Jade Avenger. Whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So we untap and draw a mountain. So if I swing into that Jade Avenger, it becomes a 4/4. We can adapt and then shoot it with the Javelineer. Play planes. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Okay, opponent no blocks. We are going to adapt. Hit our opponent for 6. The next turn we can play Timeless Dragon, and then follow up we can Unbounded Potential, put counters on stuff, and then Anthem our whole team. Alright, so opponent gets their Soul Talisman, they go to combat, and then they pass. We untap. We draw Prismatic Ending. So we can answer the Soul Talisman, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think what we do is play a Mountain and just cast the Timeless Dragon. We can go with not attacking this turn. Pass the turn. Opponent is going to Floodhound, investigate. Why would you not use Soul Talisman to pay for that? What if you drew like a Disperse or something? I don't know. Maybe they don't have it. When it untaps, plays a land. Plays Lannis. Then plays Ethereum Spinner. Makes a token. And then they are passing. Alright, we untap. We draw Road to Ruin, which we could use to kill something. I think doing the full value Entwine on Unbounded Potential is better this turn. So play a Mountain, go to combat, attack here and here. Opponent is going to block and Bushido. So put a 1/1 counter here and here. Then we get to proliferate, so choose all of our guys. Opponent sacks Occluded, draw. Knighted Mirror gains double strike, it gains double strike again. We Bushido up to a 4/4. We hit our opponent down to 6. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. So next turn, even if my opponent makes a whole bunch of flying blockers, we can clear at least 2 of them, and we probably have lethal at that point. If this is an Orchard Spirit, my opponent might be able to survive. Orchard Strider, that's the card I was thinking of. Okay. Because this gives them 2 foods, and they can crack one of them. Alright. Opponent is passing. We untap. We draw a Mountain. Play a Mountain. Prismatic Ending the Thopter. Go to combat. Attack for 7 in the air. Opponent has to gain life. They're going to 9, and then they're going to 2. So then we Road, getting a Plains, and Ruin Ethereum Spinner. Because that way they can't just make flying blockers, they have to actually answer our creature. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Liquimetal Torque. They turn Timeless Dragon into an artifact, and they're going to crack open it. Okay, they get a treasure. Not a bad combo with the number of naturalizes in this format. But it gains life to go up to 5, so we can't just Foundry Helix them. Then they play a tap land. We untap. We draw Arcbound Whelp, which is pretty good. Play a Forest. Eternalize. Then play the Whelp. Pass the turn. The Whelp is lethal by itself. The Timeless Dragon is lethal if we can find any 1 damage. Opponent plays a Plains. So opponent is going to Karmic Guide Ethereum Spinner. That is annoying. Then they play a Bannerhide Crew Shock to get another flyer. Alright. Then they're going to sack a clue to draw. Then they sack a treasure, and tap the Torque for something else. Oh, they cracked another clue, okay. We untap. We draw another Javelineer. Play it. So, go to combat. Attack and attack. We will have to use Javelineer to kill whatever they block with the Whelp with, but this is the only way we can force them to block with Karmic Guide. Because we kind of need to clear the sky here. Yeah, maybe I should have ruined the token and prismatic endinged the Ethereum Spinner, because we knew our opponent could buy stuff back from the grave. That order of removal may have actually screwed me out of winning this game. Soul of Migration, full price. That's annoying. Okay, so opponent has a whole bunch of flyers. I'd really like to draw my Batterbone. Opponent passes. We untap. We draw Prototype. Play the Prototype. And I can't actually attack with the Timeless Dragon like I want to, because if I do, they could put 5 blockers in front of it, and we cannot kill all of them. So pass to our opponent. They play a land. Opponent does another Orchard Strider. They get more food and more clues. They gain life. And they draw a card. I'd really like to draw Extruder, to be honest. But Batterbone would also be pretty sick. Opponent captures the Whelp Bilogox. Okay, so Extruder would be nice. They make the birds bigger. We draw nothing. Play nothing. Pass the turn. So our opponent is at the point of the game where they are going to be drawing a whole lot more cards than us, which is where we did not want to be. Alright, so this is game 2, I think, judging by the game log. You know, I don't think we can beat that. Even with our opponent being so low on life. Cauldra complete's pretty good. Because this exiles anything it hits. Take the damage. Yeah, we need to draw Batterbone and we need to draw Extruder to have a chance. There's an Arcbound tracker. That doesn't really do anything. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a land. They go to combat. They attack again with Cauldra. We take 5, go to 10. They're They're going to move Caldra over to a Thopter token. Sure. We untap. We draw Blacksmith skill. I'm pretty sure... let's see. Yeah, so Hexproof does not make Captured by Legox fall off. I always forget that. And we have no way to get the damage through, so... We're going to concede and go to game 3, I think. Yep. I don't think we have any adjustments we're going to make, so what I'm going to do is restart the client. Alright. I would like to play first. We have all 3 drops. I mean, I think it's powerful enough. I'm not a huge fan, but... Lead on Thornglint Bridge. We'll probably have to plane cycle this Timeless Dragon to begin with. But it also starts Thornglint Bridge. Play a Mountain. Plane cycle. Pass the turn. Because then we can play Tracker, Eternalize, and then if we draw 1 or 2 drop, we can play Tracker and then play our other spell and trigger the trackers. Play Planes. Play Tracker. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a tap land and a Jade Avenger. We untap and draw Forest. Play Plains. Go to combat. Attack for 2 with Menace. Take them to 18 and let's Eternalize. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Thornglint Bridge. Plays a Seal of Removal, so they can get rid of the token. That's kind of rude. They hit us for 2, so let's draw a 1 or a 2 drop, please. Prismatic Ending does count. So play a Mountain. Play Tracker. White, red, kill Jade Avenger, trigger the trackers. Go to combat. Attack for 3. I could have gotten rid of the Liquimetal Torque if I was worried about them playing Caldra specifically, which maybe I should be with the amount of mana they kept. They play Orchard Strider. They still can't block. I would like to draw a second castable spell this turn, so something that costs 3 or less. That works. Play Knighted Mirror. Play Javelineer, trigger the trackers. Go to combat. Attack for 8. They go to 7. They untap. Now if we could draw Extruder, I think we'd have this game in the bag. Spawn a Piercing Rays, exiles a tracker. Then they play a Jewel-Eyed Cobra. And pass. We untap. We draw Road to Ruin. So play a Forest. Cast Road. Get a Mountain. Ruin the Strider. Get Tracker up to 5. Go to combat. Attack for 7. This forces our opponent to block. And we can Javelineer down the Cobra. So they take 5, they go to 2, but they have 2 foods. This leaves up the ability to adapt, which is why I did it this way. I could have just attacked with the tracker, but then that let them have the Cobra and make a better block next turn. I think it's better to just keep their board empty. And it is, because we 3-0, getting 6 booster packs. Alright, well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry for the little bit that I omitted, because I'm terrible at managing the record button. I really should make a peripheral, like a big recording light, like, hey, dum-dum, you're not recording. Always make sure this light is on kind of deal, but... Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm back to my old setup, so hopefully we'll get back to a more normal schedule with more constructed content to come. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of July. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate your support. And if you want to have your guys' names show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you all so much.